After finishing 5th in the Dutch Grand Prix just a week before, Ferrari and Sainz had a much stronger home race in Italy, gaining pole and dominating at Monza. Despite this, it was easily beaten by Red Bull and finished just 3rd and 4th. But it does show that Ferrari have found their fighting spirit. And what about the Ferrari fight at the end? Was it fair to let them race? And would this also have happened if Leclerc was the one in P3? If that was the case, Ferraris would have stopped Sainz from going in. So are they treating Sainz fairly? And what did he have to say about the race and lack of team orders? Under normal conditions, finishing 3rd and 4th after starting 1st and 3rd and being defeated again by Red Bull would be deemed a loss, but this was Ferrari's most competitive race of the season when compared to F1's dominant team. Ferrari put everything at this event, including new aerodynamic efficiency options and power units for both drivers. Sainz finished less than 12 seconds behind the winner, which was closer than Charles Leclerc was in Azerbaijan, Austria and Belgium, the 3 other podium finishes for Ferrari this season. Sainz also led the race for 14 laps, the most by a non-Red Bull driver in a single race this season, and put up 2 strong holds against Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez. It would have been simple for Ferrari to simply accept Red Bull's unrivaled dominance on this circuit and focus on achieving the best possible 3-4 result. But to the team's credit, it made it a true race, even between its own cars. Yes, it almost resulted in tragedy on a few times, but Charles Leclerc escaped his clashes with Perez and Sainz without generating contact, ensuring the devoted Tifosi were fed some captivating entertainment all the way to the flag. It wasn't enough to defeat Red Bull or Verstappen in particular, but in front of its home fans, with all the added pressure and expectation that usually comes with it, Ferrari was comfortably ahead of the others for the first time this season. And not for the first time this season, Carlos Sainz has shown us his quality. The last few races, he's been on it and has been the better one of the Ferrari pairing. But this mostly happens at tracks where Ferrari isn't at their best, and when he has had to cling on hard in places like Miami, Barcelona and Zandvoort, where high-energy, long-duration corners show that the SF23's flaws. When Ferrari was at its best, Baku, the Red Bull Ring and even Spa, Charles Leclerc often outperformed his teammate. But everything came together for Sainz at Monza, where his strong dedication through the chicanes enabled him to cling to his first F1 pole since Austin 2022. In the race, Sainz did everything he could to hold off the Red Bulls, as well as Leclerc in the final laps, to earn his first podium finish of the season. That gain gives Sainz 6 points ahead of Leclerc in the Drivers' Championship, and caps off undoubtedly his most brilliant weekend of 2023 thus far. Carlos Sainz's race at Monza was jam-packed with action. Throughout the day, the Spanish driver had to battle the 2 Red Bulls and his teammate Charles Leclerc to maintain his podium place. It was the most special podium probably that you can get as a Ferrari driver. I enjoyed it a lot and now obviously a bit exhausted because it was a tough race. Always trying to keep cars behind, I gave it my everything, and in the end, I think we deserve a podium, Sainz said following the Italian Grand Prix. He also commented on the on-track clashes he had today throughout the 51 laps of racing. It was fun, but on the limit tough. It was as tough and as fun as it can get, but I enjoyed it also with Checo and Max. They were all very tough, hard battles that we did a good job to keep it clean, and it was enjoyable and good for everyone. After a flawless start, Sainz had to attempt to hold Max Verstappen at bay. The Ferrari driver said that tyre deterioration was the costliest factor. It was very tough. Honestly, I couldn't have done anything more than what I did. Trying to keep him behind also cost me the tyre degradation that I had because I was pushing too hard for our pace this weekend. I did everything I could. I think it was a very good execution. Tough battle, but honestly, it was as tough as it could get. Very tough. It couldn't get tougher than what it was today, said Sainz. I was pushing the whole race very hard to keep the Red Bulls behind. That made me use the rear tyres a lot, and in the end I paid the price, but I did everything I could to defend the tyres. With Sainz's tyres failing at the finish of the race, he was put under pressure by teammate Charles Leclerc. Team president Fred Vasseur let them both compete in their home event, which created an exciting tussle for the last podium slot in the final few laps, which Sainz hung onto while keeping Leclerc behind him. Hard racing with Leclerc, it is a pleasure to race him when we get the chance. He is a great racer, the same as Max and Checo. We had fun out there today. I think we need to keep working on our pace and tyre understanding. We were wearing them a bit more, but it is a big step forward compared to Zandvoort, and we've been the best of the rest this weekend, which is a good result given the circumstances. But it was strange seeing them both race each other that hard at the end. It raises a question if Ferrari would have let them do it if Leclerc would have led the pair. Wouldn't team orders to bring it home have been safer for the team? And why was there a lack of it? Surely they would have told Sainz to back off if he were to challenge Leclerc for P3. So after the race, Sainz was asked about the team orders, or the lack of in this case. Mostly because the two seemed to race each other that hard, on which he said the following: "I would have understood it both ways. If they would have given team orders, I would have understood. If I would have been Charles trying to get a podium, obviously I wouldn't have liked team orders. So it completely depends on the position you're in. I'm not gonna lie, it is very demanding on a very subjective position or feeling. I think it was on the limit, but it was a nice teammates, hard F1 battle, you know, which in the end is also, I guess, what you guys want to see, and I had fun doing it. But it does leave us wondering, why let them race this hard when a podium is on the line? It could have easily gone wrong on multiple occasions. But Charles Leclerc said there was nothing wrong with his duel with Ferrari colleague Carlos Sainz. Leclerc attempted to pass his teammate on multiple times. The two even went off the track while dueling, with the fight culminating in a last-lap lock-up from Leclerc at turn 1 that nearly pushed him into the rear of Sainz. "I honestly really enjoyed it," he said. "It's probably the most enjoyable race of the season, inside the helmet at least." Although the battle threatened to cause upset at Ferrari's home race, Leclerc was firm that the fight is what Formula 1 should be. "I'm sure for the pits, they wouldn't give the same answer, and I'm sure some of the Tifosi maybe didn't enjoy as much as I did with Carlos," he said. "This is exactly what racing should be. In the past with Max I've had similar fights. With Checo it was on the limit too. With Carlos it was on the limit, whether it was defending or attacking, and that made it really enjoyable inside the car. At the end of it we maximised the team's points and the maximum result we could have done as a team." Leclerc said that he and Sainz had been moving too much, but there was no hard feelings, even if he felt Ferrari team chief Fred Vasseur didn't like watching on as nearly as much. "It was close many times," continued Leclerc. "There were so many moments where it was very tricky. We were both moving a bit too much under braking, but at the end, I didn't complain. This is what I love about racing. The adrenaline that you feel when you're fighting each other, this was really fun. It was on the limit from Carlos on the defending side. It was on the limit also my side on the attack side. It means so much to both of us to be on the podium here in Monza, so we gave it all. I've always said this is how I love racing. I love today. We'll sit down with Fred. I'm sure he needs a bit of a rest for now because his heart rate was high in those last few laps." Vasseur joked that he didn't want to see any action replays so soon after the occurrence, and that the drivers would be pulled away to analyse their manoeuvres. He was, however, pleased that the team did not meddle. "It's a bit of a strange feeling, but I'm a big fan of let them race," said Vasseur. "I told them the notion of no risk, it's always relative, but I really appreciated the last couple of laps. We'll have the discussion after the race, but tomorrow they're in the factory. I didn't freeze the position. I don't want to see the replay tonight. After all, Ferrari can look back at a successful home race weekend, but Vasseur has some work to do, especially regarding Sainz now that he's showing to be at the same level as Leclerc. So can Vasseur keep his golden boy treatment of Leclerc, or does he need to treat them as equals? And what about Sainz? Can he finish the season ahead of Leclerc, and maybe even aim for the P3 in the championship? And even more important, should he accept the fact that he'll always be second fiddle to Leclerc? What do you think? Is Sainz' dig at Ferrari justified? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. It'll be interesting to see if Sainz can keep up these performances.